It's a joy to have great partners in ministry, and I'm privileged to work with a great team of clergy colleagues, a wonderful vestry, and two extraordinary lay leaders who serve as our wardens, Liza Page Nelson and John Gilliland.
Hello. In case it's not obvious, I'm Liza. He's John. The video is awfully hard to follow, so I could just say what he said, but as a warden, I get to do something that's a real privilege, and that's to say thank you. So thank you to all of our Centennial Committee and the St. Bart's volunteers who've given us a gift of almost a year of celebrations, ways to serve, great parties, and community. Could we thank them together? Thank you also to St. Bart's members, friends, event sponsors, and business partners for your generous financial support. And thanks for John and me to our fellow vestry who do this work with us. St. Bart's clergy and staff, we thank you for more than one can possibly say. And thank you to our guest preachers and speakers for sharing this moment with us. Finally, thanks to each of you for your presence throughout this centennial almost year, whether it's been in person, in prayer, or only in spirit. Did any of you notice that most of the people I just thanked were lay people? Don't get me wrong, we love, cherish, and appreciate our clergy at St. Bart's and in the Episcopal Church. We need your pastoral care, spiritual guidance, and leadership. We're thrilled to have our presiding bishop in the house. And we love this house, especially with this beautiful light, as Patrick pointed out. But as he also said, and Dean as well, St. Bart's is and always has been about more than our buildings and what our clergy do for us. St. Bart's is about what happens when we come together in worship, in service, and how we take that with us when we walk out these doors. Our Book of Common Prayer lists the ministers of the church. We lay people are first. Look it up if you don't believe me. Most of the people you see vested on Sunday at the prayer desks and daily office are lay people. So are the readers and altar keepers. Lay people lead small groups for study, spiritual practice, and fellowship. Music is ministry for many of our musicians. Lay people steward St. Bart's financial resources and buildings by serving on our vestry and its committees. Hospitality ministry is done by many, our ushers, greeters, tour guides, St. Bart's Central volunteers, and every one of you who ever starts a conversation with someone you don't already know at coffee hour. Many of you are aware of St. Bart's history of outreach and social ministry. This is long, and it's fueled by the gifts and passions of our lay people. We've been offering food, shelter, and fellowship to people in need since the 1880s. We've nurtured children and youth, done aid work in Africa, Christmas miracles, and so much more. We continue to stand with our LGBTQ siblings. We help immigrants learn English. We work for gun reform, to end domestic violence and human trafficking. We work for peace. Millennia ago, Jesus had the disciples, and they had each other. We have each been given different gifts and passions and invited into community because there's so much to do. In this time, it will take all of us. The theme to celebrate St. Bart's in our Park Avenue home is timeless and timely at 100. I'll add another T, threshold. Irish poet John O'Donoghue recalls this threshold image from his childhood. When John's father would leave to go to work each day, the last thing he did as he crossed the threshold of their home was to turn back toward his family sitting at the kitchen table, and then to inhale a full, explicit breath. In that act and moment, he was taking in the fullness of the spirit of his home and his loved ones. He was looking back to take a breath of blessing to nourish and guide his journey. And isn't that what we've been doing in this centennial season? Isn't that what we're doing right now in this moment? So please, take a look around you and take a blessing breath. We know what happens when two or more gather in Jesus' name. So please come to St. Bart's as often as you can to worship, serve, and be nourished for whatever ministries call you. From here, St. Bart's will be about what we make it. We cross this threshold and take this journey together. Thank you.